Ever heard of a war chief so skilled, his name alone struck fear into the hearts of his enemies?
I can think of a few.
We'll get ready to add another name to that list.
Yeah.
Because we're diving deep into the life and battles of Blue Jacket.
Oh, yeah, him.
A Shawnee war chief who led this incredible resistance against U.S. expansion during the Northwest Indian War.
A fascinating period.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going way beyond, the typical textbook version of his story.
Right, digging deeper.
You ready to uncover what made Blue Jacket such a unifying force?
I am.
Bringing together multiple tribes against a growing nation?
Yeah, it's amazing how he managed to, bridge the divides between all these diverse groups.
Right.
Each with their own, distinct cultures and histories. It wasn't just about, shared animosity towards U.S. expansion.
Yeah.
He had this way of appealing to their deeper values. Their shared desire for sovereignty and self-determination.
So he wasn't just a warrior.
Not at all.
I mean, we know he was born Weyapiersenwah.
Yeah.
But took on the name Blue Jacket from a captured British soldier's coat.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which I think speaks volumes about his early interactions with European powers.
Well, sure.
But how did he rise to become this unifying figure?
Well, you have to think about the context, right?
Okay.
Late 1700s,
Yeah.
time of immense upheaval for Native American tribes.
Yeah, they're facing a lot of pressure.
Relentless pressure, yeah, from encroaching settlers.
Broken treaties.
Broken treaties, exactly, and this growing sense of threat to their way of life.
Right.
Blue Jacket emerged as this leader who could articulate these grievances.
Yeah.
Not just through force, but through diplomacy as well.
Okay, so he's got this incredible ability to unite tribes.
He did.
And then you've got the Northwest Indian War erupting from 1785 to 1795.
Big one.
Yeah, we all know the basic story. Native American tribes fighting for their homelands against U.S. forces.
Right.
But what made this war so significant? And how did Blue Jacket's leadership shape its course?
Well, it's often overlooked how strategically complex this war was.
Right.
It wasn't just, a clash of armies on an open field.
Right.
Blue Jacket understood the need to leverage the terrain,
Yeah.
to utilize guerrilla tactics that played against the conventional warfare style of the U.S. Army.
Yeah.
He knew how to use the dense forests and river systems to his advantage.
It definitely seems like it.
Yeah.
And it worked, at least for a while.
Yeah.
His victory at St. Clair's defeat in 1791, that was a huge turning point.
Huge.
I mean, imagine the shockwaves it sent through the young nation.
Oh, absolutely. It's considered one of the worst defeats in U.S. military history.
Wow.
Hundreds of soldiers were killed, and it just demonstrated the power and effectiveness of Blue Jacket's strategies.
Yeah.
But crucially, it also fueled anxieties within the U.S. government about Native American resistance.
Right.
They realized this wasn't going to be an easy fight.
So how did Blue Jacket manage to pull off such a stunning victory? What made his tactic so effective against a seemingly more powerful force?
Part of it was his understanding of his opponents.
Okay.
He recognized the U.S. Army's reliance on linear formations.
Yeah.
Heavy artillery, predictable movements.
Makes sense.
Blue Jacket's forces, on the other hand, were highly mobile, adaptable, and used surprise attacks to disrupt the enemy's formation.
So smart.
It was.
So you have this brilliant strategist
Absolutely.
leading these united tribes and achieving these incredible victories.
That's pretty amazing.
But then comes the Battle of Fallen Timbers in 1794, and the tide turns.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, there were multiple factors at play.
Okay.
First, the U.S. forces under General Anthony Wayne, they had learned from the previous defeats.
Right. Makes sense.
They adopted more mobile tactics and began to adapt to the terrain.
Okay.
Second, the Native American forces were facing supply shortages.
Oh, it's tough.
And maintaining unity among so many different tribes was an ongoing challenge.
Yeah, I bet. I guess sustaining that unity over time must have been incredibly difficult,
It was.
especially with the pressures of war.
Precisely. And there were disagreements among the tribal leaders about how to best engage with the U.S. forces.
Right.
Some favored continued warfare, while others saw the need for negotiation.
Yeah, I could see that.
This internal friction ultimately weakened their position.
So even with his skills and leadership, Blue Jacket couldn't overcome these challenges.
It was a tough situation.
But even in defeat, he didn't just fade away, did he?
Not at all. Blue Jacket continued to be a vocal advocate for his people's rights and land even after the war.
He did.
He understood that the fight for survival wasn't over,
Right.
and his legacy as a symbol of resistance continues to inspire.
And that brings us to the question we always ask on the deep dive.
Yeah.
What do you think Blue Jacket's story tells us about this period of American history? How should he be remembered?
Well, I think his story forces us to look beyond the simplistic narrative of westward expansion. It reminds us of the complexities, the human costs, and the resilience of those who fought to protect their ways of life.
And it makes you wonder, how might things have unfolded differently if Blue Jacket and his allies had maintained their momentum and won at Fallen Timbers? It's a question worth pondering, isn't it?
It certainly is. Blue Jacket's story is a powerful reminder that history is not just about victors and vanquished.
Yeah.
It's about the choices made, the challenges faced, and the enduring legacy of those who fought for what they believed in.
So if you're interested in learning more about Blue Jacket, the Northwest Indian War, and the complexities of this era, I encourage you to keep digging.
There's a lot to learn.
There are so many stories waiting to be uncovered.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.